the Stanley Parable. It's a little bit meta. I can see my computer twice. My computer's a little bit nicer looking than this one. Well, I don't have a nice painting on my wall, so... Or is that a photograph? I guess it's probably a photograph, right? Alright, in-game. End is never the end, is never the end is never, is loading, never. Oh, Gadok. So, how are you guys today? I am not being, I'm forgetting the word for it now. I'm not being egotistical here, I'm literally just talking about the physicality of it. I'm very hot right now. It's very muggy in London. A storm is probably gonna roll over eventually. It rained a few days ago and that was nice. First day that it was actually cool in a while. But I'm looking forward to a day when we actually get a full-blown storm.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy.
A little bit of audio skipping.
And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Alright. There was some audio skipping there. I set it to headphones. Let's try setting it to 2 speakers and hopefully that will fix it. Hi there. It's me, PB, but not the PB who's playing the Stanley Parable. That's a past PB. This is a future PB who's already played the Stanley Parable and is now editing the Stanley Parable to put onto YouTube. There was some tech issues at the beginning of the stream. They took a while to fix. I wanted to include my actual initial intro into the game in the video. I hit my mic, I'm sorry. I'm also far too fucking tired to remove that. I'm not a professional. Anyways, yeah, there's some tech issues that took a while to work out. I wanted to include the original intro just because I didn't replay the intro. I skipped the intro to the actual game every other time that I loaded it back up. And, you know, I give like a little intro on the game. Whatever, you know. We're just going to skip to after I fixed it. So, yeah, I hope you enjoy the video. I'm out, but I'm still there because it's past me. Alright, I'm going to press the stop button. Let me know how this is. Right now it's not saying encoding overload, so hopefully we might finally be good. Much better? Perfect, okay. Fucking finally. Alright. As I said, there might be some stuttering in-game, but we'll try and power through. Also, what... Is that the right time? Does the clock actually work? So supposedly, in like the majority of video games, clocks are all set to the same minute and hour. I don't know if that's true. I've heard that somewhere. And I also don't know if this is the correct time, because I can't remember what the time was supposed to be in these video games. Yeah, the minute and hour didn't move. Hey, Old Snake. You haven't missed much, but welcome to the stream. You haven't missed much because we literally just got started through tech issues for like half an hour. Let's move on. Yeah, so there's a little bit of a frame skip as I enter the new room, but that's on my end, so we'll just live through it. That's a nice photo. Reminds me of America. Or maybe France. I can see France there. Or Italy. Keep dry. Alright. Is there any way to zoom in? I'd like to see what's on these computer screens. I can't. Okay. I can turn them off though. I can't turn them back on. Newspaper. That is one hell of a small newspaper. It's more like a leaflet, but it's made like a newspaper. Username access. That why you're running at 61.4p? Yeah, and also my resolution's weird. So like it doesn't perfectly line up to 720p. So it's always gonna be a weird number anyways, but I say it's always going to be. One of the things I'd like to also buy after a new CPU is a third monitor, which would actually have a normal aspect ratio. Yeah, I forget what my aspect ratio is. 16, yeah, I've got widescreen 16:9, which comes out as that, while most people have widescreen 16:10. So my resolution comes out as not the same as most people are used to. But
when Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Fuck you. Even though I should always go left.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Yeah, sure. Give me a second. Google Chrome has gone completely black. There we go. Just couldn't see you guys there.
Stanley just stood there doing nothing at all. He seems to think I have nothing better to do with my time than to sit around and describe every fascinating little detail of his inability to do anything. This is why Stanley and I are on such good terms.
I feel like we're not on good terms. I feel like you don't like me. That's a mess. This would be my office. Fucking mess. See, this not my office. This is neat. I believe I'm using Bicubic, but I can't remember. I set up OBS so long ago and I just forget all the settings that I put onto it. Alright, employee lounge.
Ah, yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in.
I feel like they want me to go to the vending machine. Because he said drinking it all in. I'll do it.
Yes, really, really worth it being here in the room. A room so utterly captivating that even though all your co-workers have mysteriously vanished, here you sit looking at these chairs and some paintings. Really worth it.
What do you mean by cheat calendar? I'm confused.
At this point, Stanley's obsession with this room bordered on creepy and reflected poorly on his overall personality. It's possible that this is why everyone left.
Oh, I see.
But at last, he'd had enough of the amazing room and took the first open door on his left to get back to business.
I'm refusing.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Hey, A4, we're working in an office. Look at that. That's A4. That's A4. A4. A4 is abound. This is a fucking big place, dude. I feel like that's unsafe. I feel like I'm pretty high up right now. Warning, do not jump from the cargo lift while it's in motion. Will cause death. Penalty for misuse of cargo lift, $1,000. Penalty for jumping off the cargo lift, $5,000.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her.
You're hearing static from my mic? Like, even when I'm not talking or whenever I open my mic? Is my mic too loud or something? Also, I should totally jump off this, right?
But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death. Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
Oh, all the way back at the beginning? Alright.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
But if it's static from my
Stanley
mic,
came
I
to
can
a set
turn
of two
myself
open.
down.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Wow. Yes. This room. What a beautiful room. What a gorgeous, gorgeous room. Thank goodness Stanley had taken this detour on his way to the meeting room. Life without having experienced this room was now too horrible even to consider.
The style of this game reminds me a lot of Dr. Lance.
Yes,
and
really, really worth it being here in the room. A room so utterly captivating that even though all your co-workers have mysteriously vanished, here you sit looking at these chairs and some paintings. Really worth it.
the Dr. Langslov game. I can't remember the full title because it's super
But
fucking
eager
long.
to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
But it's a free game by the guy, one of the guys who worked on this game
Stanley
as
was
well.
so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
But it's a very similar vibe. You've got a
Look,
narrator.
Stanley, I think
Wait, no.
perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her.
No, there wasn't a narrator in Dr. Lanslov, but you like listened to audio logs, and it was very similar.
This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself, to put your work aside, to let her back into your life. She's been waiting.
First time playing Phoenix. Know nothing about this game other than a bit about its development cycle, and the fact it was critically acclaimed. Yes, that's the one. Old Snake. Yeah, it's a great game. I loved it.
That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this, to reach out to her. If you can truly place your faith in another, then pick up the phone.
See, I feel like a lot of my decisions in this game are to spite the narrator. I don't want to pick it up. unplug it.
As Stanley picked up the phone, a white light engulfed him, filling him not just with radiance, but with hope. Hope for a life reunited one... Wait. Oh, goodness. Stanley, did you just unplug the phone?
That's awesome.
No, that wasn't supposed to be a choice. How did you do that? You actually chose incorrectly? I didn't even know that was possible. Let me double check. No, it's definitely here, clear as day. Stanley picks up the phone. He's taken to his apartment where he finds his wife, and the two pledge themselves to one another. Music comes in, fade to white, roll credits. Not picking up the phone is actually somehow an incorrect course of action. How is that even possible? None of these decisions were supposed to mean anything. I don't understand. How on earth are you making meaningful choices? What did you... Wait a second. Did I just see... No, that's not possible. I can't believe it. How had I not noticed it sooner? You're not Stanley. You're a real person. I can't believe I was so mistaken. This is why you've been able to make correct and incorrect choices. And to think I've been letting you run around in this game for so long. If you'd made any more wrong choices, you might have negated it entirely. It's as though you completely ignored even the most basic safety protocol for real-world decision-making. Or did you not grasp the severity of the situation? Well, I won't have that kind of risk on my watch. I'm going to stop the game for a moment so we can educate you properly on safe decision-making in the real world. Please observe this helpful instructional video.
Choice. It's the best part of being a real person, but if used incorrectly can also be the most dangerous. For example, in this scenario, a hypothetical real person named Stephen has a choice. He could spend years helping improve the quality of life for citizens of impoverished third world nations. Or he could systematically set fire to every orphan living in a 30-kilometer radius of his house.
Jesus.
Which choice would you make? Remember that unlike here, the real world makes sense, and at no time should you make a choice that does not conform to rational logic. If you find yourself speaking with a person who does not make sense, in all likelihood, that person is not real. Allow the person to finish their thought, then provide an excuse why you cannot continue talking. Turn to a partner and practice saying, "My goodness, is it 4:30? I'm supposed to be having a back, sack, and crack."
Do I... Shut up, phone. Do I click? Oh, okay.
Excellent. Making choices on a regular basis is the best part to a healthy decision-making process. Most medical professionals recommend making at least 8 choices per day. Do you make more than 8? Less? And finally, if you begin to wonder if your choices are actually meaningful and whether you'll ever make a significant contribution to the world, just remember that in the vast infiniteness of space, your thoughts and problems are materially insignificant, and the feeling should subside. At this time, your instructor will guide you in an exercise to test and reinforce the material covered in this video.
Okay.
Welcome back. You may have noticed that this room has begun to deteriorate as a result of narrative contradiction. But not to worry. Now that you're properly informed on good decision-making, we're going to revisit a choice you made just a few minutes ago and see what the correct thing to do would have been. This way, please.
So, real quick note. First of all, that's awesome. Danger. Danger everywhere. One interesting thing I noticed about this game is a little bit of an inconsistency. Earlier, it mentioned about fines, being fined for using the lift incorrectly in dollars. That's a British plug. That is a British plug. And I know this game was made by... I think both of them were Britmen. I know one of them was a Britman. That's a British plug. Don't use dollars if it's a British plug. Stop. Charts? Okay. More charts. Danger everywhere. And some bulldogs. Alright. Onto the lift, I guess.
Now that we know your choices are meaningful, We can't have you jumping off the platform and dying. Imagine the main character dying senselessly halfway through the story. That story would make no sense at all. We just need to get you home as soon as possible before the narrative contradiction gets any worse. Unfortunately, it seems this place is not well equipped to deal with reality.
Hey, namely. I'm sorry, I was bored, wanted to start early. You haven't actually missed that much, because for the first half an hour to 40 minutes I was having tech issues. So you've only missed my first, I guess, 2 run-throughs of the narrative, which is I jumped off the lift the first time and the second time I unplugged the phone, and that's what we're currently doing, is having the phone unplugged. But how you'd be? How is everyone? Do not lie. If you're lying right now, stop. Oh, pathological lie. Or was that a lie?
Almost there. You'll take the door on the left, back to the correct ending, the story will have resolution once again, and you'll be home free in the real world.
But yeah, the style of this game is definitely reminding me of Dr. Langslov, which I loved. And I like the narrator in this game, which is saying something because I'm comparing it to Dr. Langslov, which had Justin Roiland as the main voice actor, so... Can you stay in the break room? I stayed in the break room when I walked through it for a bit and he started to narrate, but he closes the door behind me, so I can't really go back there right now. He wants me to take the first door on my...
Now remember, all you need to do is behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Fuck you. Also, that's weird. These aren't double doors, but they're reversed. You don't really see that in buildings usually. Also, fuck you.
No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry back in the other direction. Perhaps we're not too late.
Numbers that are backwards and some question mark. Wait a second. There's a clipping texture, but I'll allow it because of what this game is. That's the first time I've seen a clipping texture and I'm okay with it. See, this would be my office. It's a completely separate game? Interesting. Alright, I guess... Let's try going through it one more time, see if he reacts again. No, he doesn't. Okay, that's fine. We'll go through this one. Yeah, I mean, he's a fine voice actor. It's just, you know, Justin Roiland's a very special voice actor. Special being the only word you could use to describe him. That's bright as heck.
Oh, it's ruined. I can't believe, after everything we talked about, that my story, you've destroyed my work. Why? For what? What did you get out of that? What did you think was so special about seeing the game undone, left here like so much garbage? It's worthless now. And what am I supposed to do? Even if there were a way to continue, would it be worth it? To know that my story is now incorrect? How can I go back to that? I can't erase that knowledge. I'll have to live with it forever, reliving its impossibility forever. I couldn't live that way. Is it better to shut the game down entirely? To willingly destroy all of my work? I don't know. What's the answer? What do I do? What do I do? What do I... No, I have to. I have to shut the game down. I have to. I have to.
This guy... Oh, I wanted to read the things on the wall. No! This guy's also so amazingly British. I love it. This kind of sounds like... Or it did sound like the beginning of a Real Hero from Drive.
Oh, I'm here. I'm still here. Here in this pile of rubbish. With you. You, who thought you were so clever. Now look where we are. My entire game is destroyed. It was the only thing in the world that was mine, and you've run it into the ground. What, did you think that would be funny? You just had to see? Didn't I impress upon you how important it was to be like Stanley? He actually knows how to do what I tell him to. He understands that if I say to do something, there's a damn good reason for it. That thought hadn't even occurred to you, had it? That there's a world outside of you? You're a child.
Oi.
Oh, my story. If you'd just gone through the door on the left, you would have seen it. There was a whole underground facility. You would have destroyed it and been victorious. It would have been so perfect. I worked so hard on it. I tried so hard.
Narrator man?
Behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Also, his breakdown just then, it was reminiscent of every time teachers like, you need to change these things about your script. And I'm like, but it's my story. You can't change my story.
Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry.
This is kind of awkward now.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
I can't see the doors. Is this part of the game or is the game broken? I'm genuinely not sure anymore. Yeah, I don't think this is part of the game. As far as I can tell, I'm also not in control because I'm pressing W, A, S, and D and there's no sound of me walking or anything like that. So I don't think it's just that I can't see anything, I think it's literally I've broken the game. Okay. Let's begin the game again. Alright, I have another idea of how to do something a little bit differently this
All of
time.
his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. The lounge was sublime, a work of art. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took
That's
the
cool.
first open door on his left.
It like interrupted itself and did a different line. Interesting. Alright, I will go through that one eventually, but I think I saw another open door that I want to try
Stanley
and
was
get
so
to.
bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy.
I can't jump
really
though,
am
so...
not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that What?
Yes!
Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance.
This door's not open though, is it? It's closed. Yep, Quinn, it's exactly what I was thinking. I saw it before and I was like, I wonder if I could get there. Danger, danger everywhere. Got some paint. What a window, I guess that one's shattered. Warning, do not stand on this side of the fence. I'm observant, Phoenix. I look around in
Now
video
listen
games.
carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door. Aha, perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door. I still don't think we're communicating properly. Stanley walked through the red door. All right, fine, go ahead, Stanley. You want to know so badly what's out there? You want to find out what lies at the end of this road you've chosen? Well, don't let me stop you.
That's awesome.
You see? There's nothing here. I haven't even finished building this section of the map because you were never supposed to be here in the first place. Broken rooms, exposed developer textures. Is this what you had wanted? Was it worth ruining the entire story I had written out specifically for you? Do you not think I put a lot of time into that? Because I did. And in the end, it was all for nothing. Because this is what you wanted to see. Help me here, Stanley. Help elucidate these strange and unknowable desires of yours. What would have made this game better? What did you want to see? Vehicles? Skill trees? Work with me. You've given me absolutely nothing so far. Tell you what. Let me take a stab in the dark at a new design, and you can give me some feedback. There we go. A third option. This already feels leaps ahead of where we were before. Go ahead, Stanley. Take it for a spin.
I can't. He wants me to go through there now. I can't do that. Yeah, I had to turn on the graphical settings to make sure it run nicely. See, 6. I can't do that, dude. If you want me to go there, I'm not gonna go there. I'm going through this door.
Okay, I'm going to stop you there. Now, tell me about your experience with this new version. Would you say that the game benefited from allowing you more choices? Feel free to be honest. I'm looking for some real critical feedback here.
Alright, if you want me to be honest, let's talk about this for a second. Does more choices in a video game make it a better game? I'm inclined to say... That was a maybe, by the way, in a weird voice. You know, I like freedom, I like player freedom. Tabletop RPGs are awesome because players can do anything. But at the same time, a more linear experience is often better. You know, one of my favorite video games of all time is The Last of Us, which is completely linear. There's a ton of open world post-apocalypse games that are considerably worse. You know, the Bethesda games, Fallout and the Elder Scrolls, give you a ton of player freedom, but they suffer because of that because they can't specialize in any one area. My prime example of that is I love stealth games, and the Elder Scrolls stealth is competent, but it's if I wanted a good stealth game, I wouldn't play the Elder Scrolls, I'd play a stealth game. So I'm going to go with a solid 3.
Oh, of course. A 3. Really? Maybe next time we can get you to form an actual opinion,
just did.
you know? Any level of critical thinking or engagement with your surroundings? Does
Wow.
that sound good? Think we can do that? Yes?
Excuse you.
Here, based on the data from your previous playthrough, I've compiled a new version. And to be perfectly candid, I think I've knocked it out of the park with this one. Let's take a look.
I gave you so much oh, that's new. The Stanley Parable Worldwide Leaderboard. Good old Neil is offline. He did it in... See, this is hacking, dude. I'm telling you, these are all hackers. This is one thing I actually hate about leaderboards in video games is that it's there's all the top ones are hackers. Stanley 427 is online. 7 is that 7 hours? You're objectively ranked 9,328 out of 9,328 players worldwide. In total, 91,728 doors opened. That's a lot of stuff to read. Did you know that 21.3% of players skipped the intro sequence? Only the worst 3% of players chose the blue door. 98.9. Oh, okay. This is your superior. How long does it take you to get to the correct door complete? Again, What do you guys think? I will let you guys choose, because I've been going for what is now the middle door every single time, and I feel like that is a funny option, but I also, this is the problem with this game now, is if I keep on doing that, I might get a really cool, you know, the story might progress in a cool way. It already has, but there's presumably eventually going to be a limit where I'll just keep on going through the same door and get the same thing. So, which door should I go through? Whoever responds first, I'll do. So. That's a nice fern. Is that a fern? I feel like that's a fern. I don't actually know what a fern is, but that feels like a fern. I know ferns plant, but I just don't know, like, is this a fern or is this just a potted plant? These are the real questions. Let's break this game. You want the truth, PB? Just tell me which door to go through. As what you want me to go through, not what will progress the game. Just which door would you like me to see me go through? Not a fern? Damn. Alright. Middle.
Now, would you say that competitive leaderboard helped you feel motivated to keep walking through doors?
No, fuck that.
Again, honest answers, please.
Leaderboards do nothing for me.
Hey, I nearly forgot. I've got a prototype of a new game I've been working on, and now would be a lovely opportunity to give it some playtesting. You wouldn't mind taking a look at it, would you? Perfect. Let me boot it up.
Snake does say always go left, but also left is where he wanted me to go first of all, and also Snake is wrong because he's Snake and I'm not Snake.
In this game,
What the fuck?
baby crawls left towards danger. You click the button to move him back to the right, and if he reaches the fire, you fail. It's a very meaningful game, all about the desperation and tedium of endlessly confronting the demands of family life. I think the art world will really take notice. But of course, the message of the game only becomes clear once you've been playing it for about 4 hours. So why don't you give it 4 hours of play to make sure it's effective? Be sure to keep notes on your experience.
This is my life now. This is just... The game's actually louder than I am. I have to speak up. God. Fuck it, you can die now. You're too loud. It's not how I'm gonna be it.
Heartless bastard.
Listen, dude, I'd
Did
be
you do it because you hate babies or purely to spite me? Because if it's the latter, well, I don't know what to do. I'm completely out of ideas. I can't think of a single thing that might improve the experience for me. I'm not even going to try. I'm out. I'm done. It's over. Thank you for playing. Your input was extremely valuable. Oh, hey, since my game was so awful, why don't we play someone else's game, just to ease the pain? Let's see. What do we have here?
Yeah, but it was drowning me
Yes,
out, dude.
This
I
seems
couldn't.
like it'll work. Let's
I'd
give
be a
it
good
shot.
parent, but like when I'm streaming, I want to be heard because you know I'm egotistical. I need you guys to hear.
Well, Stanley, is this any better? At last, the one thing you've always desired. A game I had absolutely nothing to do with. But is it enough? Tell me that, Stanley. Will it ever be enough? Well, I'll say this. I'm done making things for you. From now on, I will only create to fulfill a greater artistic purpose. Watch this, Stanley. I'm going to build a house.
I swore I'd never come back here.
This will go here, no, here, and then... Let's see, what does it need? Yes, of course, and just to finish it all off, yes, it's complete. I made this, Stanley. Look at it. Gaze upon my work of art and feel ashamed at your own inadequacy. Ah, but you've only seen it from the outside. You've only gotten half the experience. Please, step inside and make yourself comfortable.
Did I say that, Phoenix? I thought I said I'd be a good... I meant to say I'd be a good dad unless the child was... unless I was streaming and the child was screaming because they need to be heard. But I'd be a good dad. And the key factor is that child wouldn't be screaming in the first place, because I'd be such a good dad that the child would never need anything, never want for anything. I'm about to sneeze. And then, I sneezed, and now the child's got a cold, and, because I didn't go to the left, modern medicine failed, and the child dies from the common cold. Is that any better, really?
Isn't it grand? Isn't it perfect? It could only be better if... Wait, that's it. We must rebuild it out of diamond. Diamond everything. Yes. Come along, Stanley. We have to go mining.
I hate everything about them putting this into the game. It's kind of awesome, but I also hate it.
Oh my, it looks like it's going to get a bit dark. Have you brought a light?
Nah, dude.
Oh, no. This is far more open-ended than I had in mind. I'm looking for something more narrow and linear. Something that makes you feel utterly irrelevant. This won't do at all. 1 out of 5. Even the diamonds couldn't save this one. Okay, new game.
Wow, dude. Portal.
Yes! I don't even know what this game is, but I love it. You, trapped in a glass box with no way out, listening to me talk. Oh, it's inspired. I couldn't have done it any better myself. What is this game even supposed to be? I can't figure it out. Okay, now I'm curious. Let's go find out what the hell this is.
This is Portal, but I don't actually remember whether this is how the first Portal... Oh, God. I didn't mean to do that. Whether this was how the first Portal game actually began. I don't remember. I haven't played in so long. That's not how physics works.
Oh, it's a puzzle. Critical thinking, Stanley. Your forte. Genius. No, actually, you know what? I think that's plenty. I really don't care much to see you stumble through any more of these games, and I highly doubt you're any wiser for the experience, which is why, rather than continue to wait...
Fuck you. Turn off my music. Filing cabinets. Oh god, I didn't mean to do that. Counter-Strike? This looks like Gary's mod map, so... Although, I say that, it looks like a significantly more creepy Trouble and Terrorist map than I've ever played. Off the fucking grid, dude. He doesn't know where I am. It's the doors. This is the mod set. I had heard that this was originally made in like the Half-Life, it's a Half-Life mod. Half-Life 2 mod, I should say. Do I work in a radio station in this version?
I wonder what he found. If what he wanted was to be the leading man in his own story, well, perhaps he's gotten it, down in wherever he is right now. I wonder if he's happy with his choice, and if he's learned the heavy cost that comes with it. He'll understand soon what I was trying to tell him. He needs me. Someone who will wrap everything up at the end, to make sense out of the chaos and the fear and the confusion. That's who I am. That is what I mean to this world. Oh, yes.
Quite a
Yes,
good complex.
back, there's no other way. Once this ends, after it all comes to a close, then I'll be back. The end will be here soon. Very soon. I can wait.
God, sound like a serial killer, dude. The end is never the end, is never the I like how that's also, like, legitimately the end is never the end in this game. Back at the beginning. I no longer work in a radio station.
I can't wait to tell this story to my co-workers, Stanley thought. How amusing they'll find it. Oh, won't we all just laugh and laugh at the time I thought everyone had gone missing.
I like work. I just hate my boss. Okay. That's what the Can we do the baby end? Okay. I've just turned the game quite a bit down just so I can actually, like, potentially talk while it's going on, and I might have to turn it down further. But yeah, let's try and do the baby end, I guess. But I'm not going to go for 4 hours.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Standing now in this incredible room, Stanley for the first time, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Yeah, I'll do the baby one for like maybe a minute or two, but if I legitimately have to do it for like over 5 minutes, I'm not going to do it. I don't have the patience.
I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not.
It would literally take.
Investing in your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story. But in his
I'm not doing the baby end.
that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death. Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
In Mass Effect 3, the Citadel DLC, there's a moment where James Vega challenges you to beat his pull-up like high score, I guess. Pull-up, what's the word I'm looking for? Well, yeah, like his top score.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
And to do it, you have to do like the Renegade and Paragon, like I guess QuickTime events, although they're not really QuickTime events. And his high score is like 127 or something. So you literally just got to do that, and I did that. It took about half an hour. Never again. I don't have the patience to do that sort of shit in a video game ever again.
To a set of 2 open. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
That's true. There are different things I can do.
Stanley felt lightheaded, butterflies in his stomach, giddy in a way he had never known before.
But I kind of want to.
A connection between the two? Could a man love a room? I mean,
Yes.
truly, deeply, madly love.
I love this pillow. This pillow is everything to me.
Yes, really worth it being here in the room.
Fine, jeez.
But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Alright, I'm going to do this one, because I haven't done this one yet, and it looks intriguing.
And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
Phoenix, that's the only kind of love I can do, is truly, deeply, madly. I'm going to, like, you know, hunt you down with a Bowie knife. No, that's not the only love I can experience.
But Stanley didn't want to go back to the office. He wanted to wander about and get even further off track. So now in order to get back, he needed to go, from here, it's, left.
I love the fact that this game makes me want to break Snake's rule, because I enjoy doing things that Snake wouldn't.
No, it's to the right, my mistake.
Wow, dude, I was just complimenting you and making me go left, and then you make me go right. Savage Garden?
No,
Son of a bitch.
Why would I have ever said it was to the right? What was I thinking? It's clearly... Oh dear, would you hold on for a minute, please?
He's trolling me now. I've trolled him enough, he's now fucking with me.
Let's see, we went down, right, left, down, left, right. Yep, okay, yes. I've got it now. This story is absolutely, definitely this way.
Okay.
No. This isn't right at all. You're not supposed to be here yet. This is all a spoiler. Quick, Stanley, close your eyes. Okay. We just have to get back to, oh, who am I kidding? It's all rubbish now. The whole story completely unusable. How about, rather than waste my time trying to salvage this nonsense, we'll just restart the game from the beginning. And this time, suppose we don't wander so far off track, Okay, from the top.
That's true, actually. I forgot about that, Phoenix. I broke the game, so I haven't actually done the ending. Let's go do that one, then.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley... Wait, what? No, I restarted. I swear I definitely restarted the game over, completely fresh. Everything should be... Oh, did something change? Stanley, did you change anything when we were back in that room with all the monitors? Did you move the story somewhere, or... Hold on. Why am I asking you? I'm the one who wrote the story. It was right here just a minute ago. I know for sure that it's here somewhere. Okay, then. It's an adventure. Come, Stanley. Let's find the story.
This is too many choices, man. You can't do this to me. Here's the thing. I legitimately didn't even, like, register the fact the door wasn't open. Like, I saw it wasn't open, but I was just like, it's probably just taking a while to load, and just kept on walking. And then it just didn't open. I don't know which way to go. This one looks enticing, right? Because it looks like I can go through here and then come out there, and that kind of looks enticing. This
I'll say
is...
it. This is the worst adventure I've ever been on. I can promise you there definitely was a story here before. Do we need to restart the game again? Well, I find it unlikely that we'll ever progress by starting over and over again, but it's got to be better than this. Okay, let's give it a shot. Why not?
No. An indecisive person's worst nightmare. Alright. I don't know why I'm pausing the game. There's nothing chasing me or anything. Here's a legitimate thing. Since starting to play Dungeons and Dragons when I was 12 years old, there was a period in my life when I got to a point where I would just use D&D dice to make my decisions. Like, do I wanna, bring lunch with me to school today? Roll a dice. Oh, it's a 7? Yeah, okay, I'll pack my lunch. I won't go hungry that day. Legitimate things like that. And there was like a 3-year period in my life where I'd just make pretty much every decision with a dice roll. Except it was kind of a bullshit thing. Or, it's actually kind of a useful thing because it will tell you what your mind... when you have those moments where you're like... you're weighing two decisions in your mind and you can't decide which one's better. And... one of the advantages of rolling the dice was if it landed on something that I didn't like. So let's say it landed on an even, and I was like, oh, so I'm not going to bring lunch with me to school today, it'd then be like, but I want lunch. Let's roll it again until it lands on an odd number. So, yeah. That was a thing. I still have the dice, but I'm a grown-up now.
Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
I'm not a nerd. I just like...
Okay, yep, it's worse. I might be remembering this wrong. It's possible the story is back where we just came from. Why don't we go back the other direction and see if we missed anything?
I don't wanna. I miss you, door. Here's a reference to all y'all British nerds, and maybe some American nerds, but probably just mostly British nerds. Where's Tyler just ended up in the parallel world? I've been watching Doctor Who recently, okay? That was a fucking emotional scene, though. Is this different? I feel like there wasn't a door here before. Yeah, there wasn't a door here before. This has changed. No gods, no kings, only nerds.
Aha! I knew we'd miss something. The story. Here it comes.
Yeah, it's basically what I used to do with the dice, Phoenix. But the advantage of dice is you can have more than 2 choices. Was it? I feel like it wasn't. I feel like I couldn't see that other room before. Yeah, I haven't seen... I stopped watching at the penultimate episode of the first season of Peter Capaldi's run. Just because I was watching it with my mum at the time, and we just didn't have time to both watch it at the same time, so we just never did. And now I've been rewatching everything that's on Netflix, and then you're having a nostalgia run, because I've watched, I haven't watched all of Doctor Who, but I've watched a lot of the old stuff as well, because when I was young, I went to a childminder, which if you don't know what that is, it's where like your parents, it's basically like a babysitter, except that it's not like when your parents are out at a restaurant or something. It's instead they look after you before school, and then they take you to school, and then they pick you up from school, and you just stay at that house until your parents come pick you up. And the son of the childminder I went to was a big fan of Doctor Who, so I grew up watching a lot of older Doctor Who episodes as well. But yeah, David Tennant is my favorite Doctor. Probably then followed by Sylvester McCoy, which is interesting because a lot of people don't seem to like Sylvester McCoy, but I don't know why. He's just got a special place in my heart. But yeah, I like Matt Smith as the Doctor. I'm currently in the middle of Matt Smith's run. I like him as the Doctor, but I think Stephen Moffat is a good writer, not a good showrunner. So, like, there are individual stories that are great in Stephen Moffat's run, but there's a lot of, like, the season arcs are often quite So Matt Smith's like a good Doctor plagued with bad writing, and I feel like Peter Capaldi's the same way. It's a good Doctor with bad writing. Anyways, back to the game. But yeah, David Tennant's my favourite because...
No, wait, never mind. Not the story. Okay, let's head back the other way and retrace our steps.
Because, like, David Tennant Legitimate is, like, one of the best actors, I think, currently around. He's just... Anything I see him in, I'm blown away by his performance. This is creepy.
Now this... Well, I'll be honest, I don't recognize this place at all. Is this the story? I don't think so. I can't quite recall, but I believe my story took place in an office building. Is that correct? Do you remember, Stanley? Well, do you know what? Since I've completely forgotten what we were supposed to be doing, how about this? You win! Congratulations! I know you put in a lot of hard work, and it really paid off, so good job.
Yay!
Oh, no, I don't feel right about this at all. We both know you didn't put in any actual work for that win. Some people win fair and square, and this was not one of those situations. Okay, I'm getting weirded out by whatever this place is. I don't care what might happen this time, I have to restart.
Yeah, I mean, with Sylvester McCoy. With Sylvester McCoy, I watched a couple of videos that were like, who's the best Doctor? And they went through all of them and numbered them, and Sylvester McCoy was below the midway point. And I was like, really? He's my second favorite Doctor.
All right, I've got a solution. This time, to make sure we don't get lost, I've employed the help of the Stanley Parable Adventure Line. Just follow the line. How simple is that?
Can you imagine? Well, actually, to be fair, a lot of video games essentially do have this, so...
No, I'm down. We're leaving it up to the line from now on.
Fine. First chance I get, I'm not following the line again.
You see? The line knows where the story is. It's over in this direction. Onward, Stanley, to destiny. Though, here's a thought. Wouldn't wherever we end up be our destination, even if there's no story there? Or to put it another way, is the story of no destination still a story?
That's fucking meta.
Simply by the act of moving forward, are we implying a journey such that a destination is inevitably conjured into being via the very manifestation of the nature of life itself? Okay, Stanley, I need to follow this train of thought for a minute. Just stick with me. Now, we can both agree that the nature of existence is in fact a byproduct of one's subjective experience of that existence, right? Okay.
Sure.
Now, if my experience of your existence rests inside of your subjective experience of this office, is this office in fact the skeleton of my own relative experiential mental subjective construct? Whoa. Hang on. That got a bit weird back there. Well, I'd like to apologize. Not sure where I was going with all that. You know what? I think what we need right now is a bit of music to lighten the mood.
By the way, I just remembered I turned the game volume down to do the baby thing, and then I never did the baby thing. If the game's too quiet, just let me know. If it's all good, then it's all good, but... That door wasn't open before, was it? Loud mic. I'm talking loudly to overcome the music, that's why. I turned it down for me now, so same volume for you guys. But yeah, if the game is too quiet, just let me know. Was I supposed to run up the wall there? Lots of question marks. It's one of those situations, you know, where you got loud music in your ears and you're like, I can't hear myself talk, so I have to talk louder. Game is fine? Nice. Monthly ledgers, corporate imbalances, consular consolidation reports, annual reviews, departmental accounts, personnel files, financial records. Wait. You guys are seeing this, right? Well, I'm compelled. I want to go through the way I originally saw it, though. That's so weird, dude. Why? There doesn't even appear to be a reason for this to be in the game, it just is. Alright, cool.
Cut the music, go back and look at that fern.
This is a fern.
Stanley, this fern will be very important later in the story. Make sure you study it closely and remember it carefully. You won't want to miss anything.
'Cause I don't wanna miss fame. Yeah, whatever. Now at least I know what a fern is.
Wait, what? We're back at the office? No. Line, you do know we're looking for the Stanley Parable, right? The story? Is any of this ringing a bell?
There's a small loading screen. I like it when games do that. Like Mass Effect hiding the loading screen in the elevators. Oh, back at the very beginning. This game has taught you something. I learned loads of stuff from video games. It's actually a discussion I have with my mum every now and again. And she doesn't play video games, but she's pro video games because she can clearly see how her sons, who are all gamers, or two of us, I guess, are gamers. One of us used to be a gamer and then stopped. And she can actually see, like, oh, we actually learn stuff from video games and that sort of thing. So she's very pro video games as opposed to anti them for violence and stuff.
How could you have done this to us? And after we trusted you, after everything we've been through, you... Oh, I can't take this anymore. To hell with it. Restart.
Okay. You want me to follow the line again? I'll follow the line.
You know what, Stanley? I say forget the adventure line. What's it ever done for us? We're
I mean,
intelligent
sure.
people, right? Why can't we
you
make
are.
up our own story? Something exciting, daring, mysterious. Ooh, this all sounds perfectly doable. Why don't we simply start wandering in, well, I don't know. How about this direction?
Oh, okay, sure. You're gonna make a joke? Don't joke about my mother. My mother's a saint.
Now, yes, this is exciting. Just me and Stanley forging a new path, a new story. Well, it could be anything. What do you want our story to be? Go wild. Use your imagination. Whatever it might be, Stanley, I'm ready for it.
Exactly, namely, but like there's a lot of people who are of my mum's age, and my mum is in her late 50s, so my parents are old, dude. But there's a lot of people of my parents' generation who are very anti-video games. They see the violence and then the news reports that violence in video games creates violence in the real world, and there's all that bullshit. And some people my parents' age believe that, and they don't because they're smart people. Also, when I was like, I want to say like 10 or 11, maybe even 9, my mum bought me my first video game that I personally owned rather than my brother's owning, and it was a 16 plus. So, IK. Hold on a second. Yep. This wall is longer than this wall, but apparently it's a square. It's another optical illusion. Yeah, but if you use the idea that video games create violence in the real world, then so did fucking Shakespeare's plays back when, back in the day, you know? It's violence is in every narrative because narratives reflect the real world around us, so even this reflects the real world somehow.
Oh, no, not you again. Stanley, I'd also like to veto the line from having any role in our awesome new story. No lines or monitor rooms. Just don't acknowledge it. We should be fine.
It's TM. It's alright, man. Narrator man. You and me, we're in this together. Neither one of us can go home until I eventually go through the door you wanted me to go through, but I'm not seeing that happen anytime soon, so okay.
Ah, a choice. We get to make a decision. From here, the story is in our control. How important we mustn't squander the opportunity. In fact, I believe I need a minute to think here. Just walk in circles for a minute. Okay, so I know that each door has to lead somewhere, which means that somewhere, the place where we're trying to go, there must be a reverse door that leads here. And that in turn means that our destination corresponds with the counter-inverted reverse door's origin. So starting from the right, let us ask, will taking the right door lead us to where we're going? And since the answer is clearly yes, then by all accounts, the door on the right is the correct one. Another victory for logic. Come, Stanley, our destiny awaits.
If I just keep on walking in circles, will he eventually respond? Also, yeah, I am intentionally walking against the arrows because I'm a dick. This game is perfect for me. I just get to be a dick to the game. It's great. Fine, I'll go through the door. The confusion ending.
Oh, hold up, what's this? The confusion ending. You're telling me that's what this is? It's all one giant ending? And we're supposed to restart the game, what, eight times? That's really how all this goes? It's all determined? So now, according to the schedule, I restart again. Then what? Am I just supposed to forget? Well, what if I don't want to forget? My mind goes blank simply because it's written here on this thing, wall. Well, who consulted me? Why don't I get to decide? Why don't I get a say in all of this? Is it really? No, it can't be. I don't want it to be. I don't want the game to keep restarting. I don't want to forget what's going on. I don't want to be trapped like this. I won't restart the game. I won't do it. I won't do it. I won't do it. And the timer stopped? Does that mean, did we do it? Did we break the cycle?
Now who's breaking the
Whatever
game?
it is that made this schedule, how would we even know? Will someone come for us? Will something happen? So, okay. I guess now we just wait. You know, I suppose in some way that this is a kind of story, wouldn't you agree? I'm not quite sure if we're in the destination or the journey, though they're always saying that life is about the journey and not the destination, so I hope that's where we are right now. We'll find out, won't we? Eventually. Well, in the meantime...
Okay. Okay, I will be right back very quick. I just need to real quick pop to the toilet. But I will be like a minute. Alright.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
We
Stanley
fully
decided to
restarted
go
this
to the
time?
meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Alright, I'm gonna try and do the phone ending this time. Since we broke it last time. Hey King Sony, how are you? Although I am curious, are we still in the confusion ending? Or was every ending the confusion ending? That's getting real deep.
When Stanley
Fuck
came
it.
to a set of two open, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. The lounge was grand, majestic, perhaps, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Alright, going
Stanley,
for
I think perhaps
the
we've gotten
phone
off on the
ending.
wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her. This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself. To put your work aside. To let her back into your life. She's been waiting. That's her, Stanley.
So this...
You need to be the one to do this. To reach out to her. If you can truly place your faith in another, then pick up the phone.
I really love this room, because this was my first ending, even though we broke it. And I literally was like, I don't want to answer the phone, and I was just going to stand here. And I noticed the plug, and I was like, huh, there's a plug over here. Just happened to click it, and it worked.
A white light engulfed him.
It was so awesome, just that it has that option.
With hope. Hope for a life reunited one... Wait. Oh, goodness. Stanley, did you just unplug the phone? No, that wasn't supposed to be a choice. How did you do that? You actually chose incorrectly? I didn't even know that was possible. Let me double check. No, it's definitely here, clear as day. Stanley picks up the phone. He's taken to his apartment where he finds his wife, and the two pledge themselves to one another. Music comes in, fade to white, roll credits. Not picking up the phone is actually somehow an incorrect course of action. How is that even possible? None of these decisions were supposed to mean anything. I don't understand. How on earth are you making meaningful choices? What did you... Wait a second. Did I just see... No, that's not possible. I can't believe it. How had I not noticed it sooner? You're not Stanley. You're a real person. I can't believe I was so mistaken. This is why you've been able to make correct and incorrect choices. And to think I've been letting you run around in this game for so long. If you'd made any more wrong choices, you might have negated it entirely.
I did once.
Completely ignored even the most basic safety protocol for real-world decision-making. Or did you not grasp the severity of the situation? Well, I won't have that kind of risk on my watch. I'm going to stop the game for a moment so we can educate you properly on safe decision-making in the real world. Please observe this helpful instructional video.
Choice.
Namely is
It's
amazing,
the best part of being a
and
real
so is her
person,
art.
but if used incorrectly can also be the most dangerous. For example, in this scenario, a hypothetical real person named Stephen has a choice. He could spend years helping improve the quality of life for citizens of impoverished third world nations. Or he could systematically set fire to every orphan living in a 30-kilometer radius of his house. Which choice would you make? Remember that unlike here, the real world makes sense, and at no time should you make a choice that does not conform to rational logic. If you find yourself speaking with a person who does not make sense, in all likelihood, that person is not real. Allow the person to finish their thought, then provide an excuse why you cannot continue talking. Turn to a partner and practice saying, "My goodness, is it 4:30? I'm supposed to be having a back, sack, and crack."
My goodness, is it 4:30? I am supposed to be having a back, sack, and crack. Yeah, that's now on the internet.
Making choices on a regular basis is the best part to a healthy decision-making process. Most medical professionals recommend making at least 8 choices per day. Do you make more than 8? Less? And finally, if you begin to wonder if your choices are actually meaningful and whether you'll ever make a significant contribution to the world, just remember that in the vast infiniteness of space, your thoughts and problems are materially insignificant, and the feeling should subside. At this time, your instructor will guide you in an exercise to test and reinforce the material covered in this video.
Welcome back. You may have noticed that this room has begun to deteriorate as a result of narrative contradiction. But not to worry. Now that you're properly informed on good decision-making, we're going to revisit a choice you made just a few minutes ago and see what the correct thing to do would have been. This way, please.
Lies, namely. You're an artist person. Those people that make things with their bare hands. That's
Now that we
wizard
know your
men
choices are meaningful,
and witchmen.
we can't have you jumping off the platform and dying. Imagine the main character dying senselessly halfway through the story. That story would make no sense at all. We just need to get you home as soon as possible before the narrative contradiction gets any worse. Unfortunately, it seems this place is not well equipped to deal with reality.
I wish I could create artworks, but every time I try, I rage quit, basically. I don't have the patience to learn how to draw. So, mad respect to anyone who
Take
does.
the door on the left, back to the correct ending, the story will have resolution once again, and you'll be home free in the real world. Now remember, all you need to do is behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Yeah, Quen,
Oh! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry back in the other direction. Perhaps we're not too late.
Yeah, but namely, you know, like, some people are just naturally gifted at stuff. I'm just naturally not gifted at anything. Except for having a deep... Literally my only asset is my deep voice. Because I can go very deep. And I can occasionally go demonic.
Oh, it's ruined. I can't believe, after everything we talked about, that my story, you've destroyed my work. Why? For what? What did you get out of that? What did you think was so special about seeing the game undone? Left here like so much garbage. It's worthless now. And what am I supposed to do? Even if there were a way to continue, would it be worth it? To know that my story is now incorrect? How can I go back to that? I can't erase that knowledge. I'll have to live with it forever, reliving its impossibility forever.
We're broke Wednesday, that's great. I would have that if I ran a business. Financial panicking, boss inspection, mergers, ideas, development, pre-review, weekly review, okay. I'm an okay storyteller, maybe, and I'm not a great writer because I literally wrote something a few weeks ago and then I was too shy to actually release it to the world, so...
I'm here.
Those classic fun times.
Here in this pile of rubbish. With you, who thought you were so clever. Now look where
But thank you.
My entire game is destroyed. It was the only thing in the world that was mine, and you've run it into the ground. What, did you think that would be funny? You just had to see? Didn't I impress upon you how important it was to be like Stanley? He actually knows how to do what I tell him to. He understands that if I say to do something, there's a damn good reason for it. That thought hadn't even occurred to you, had it? That there's a world outside of you? You're a child.
I am 20 years old, mister.
My story. If you'd just gone through the door on the left, you would have seen it. There was a whole underground facility. You would have destroyed it and been victorious. It would have been so perfect. I worked so hard on it. I tried so hard.
I miss the old narrator. The narrator that was kind of like a friend. After everything we had been through.
First. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Alright, quick question for you guys. Last time I went through the right door again, and we completely broke the game. Do I go through the right again? There is a dog barking. I don't know if you can hear it, but there's a dog barking out there, and I miss my doggo. Miss my beautiful German Shepherd. But yeah, do I go through the left or the right? Right it is. Hopefully the game doesn't break.
Quickly, hurry.
Walk, walk, walk. Oh, it works this time.
That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Left this time? Alright, let's go left this time. This is, just to clarify, this is the first time... I'm pretty sure this is the first time I've ever gone through the left door. It might be the second time, but if this is the second time, then the first time was when everything was really fucked. So, either way, this is the first time I've gone through this corridor and it's seemingly normal. Alright. Hey, it's the meeting room.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Let's finish reading this. Pranking Calls meeting. What to do about 432. Don't tell 432 about the meeting? Yeah. Group 44X, Group 49X, office party. Woo. Do not alter without consulting whiteboard manager. Dude, I would be a kick-ass whiteboard manager. Targets. Push for funding for R&D plus new coffee machine. Standardized graphs 40 times wide. Not efficient. $. Even though it was a British plug back in the phone room. Get Chris out of the broom closet. Synergize. That isn't... Okay, I thought that said puppers, and I was like, that can't say puppers. This was before puppers was a word. Hire someone to synergize papers. Papers are too synergized. Fire paper guy. Hire somebody to fire the paper guy. Hire somebody to fire the paper synergizing guy. Who moved my desk? Question mark, question mark, question mark. Please keep the targets on the topic of... The future was yesterday, tomorrow is now. That don't make no sense. Tomorrow, complete today's unfinished agenda items. Right. Next day's agenda, reflect. Employ 47. Okay. Oh, wait, hold on. It actually says who they are. 431 is Jim. That's the only one that tells me who it is. Alright. What does that say? Oh, it's just a bunch of numbers. Alright. Bi-quarterly post-review. We need... Scribble. We need more or less reviews. 402 plus 405 want to get rid of the deaf sport portion in the primary review schedule, but I think that's a stupid idea. More water coolers, more water cooler heaters. Charts need to be more hip to appeal to teenage demographic. Find teenagers are put in teenage demographic. Big net, some sort of child trap. No, no. Teenagers, size of demographic, space between the teenagers, a lot of percent. Throw something. Sorry about my phone going off, by the way. That's I guess people at my business, not my business, but the business I work at, are finishing the day and like they're all posting in the WhatsApp group. Throw something in the ideas bin. 10 no more bins, trash cans. 20 remaining of the ideas bin. 30 firing of me, ideas bin. All right. Better safe than profits. Business Club. Rule 1. References are not all they're cracked up to be. I guess that's a reference I don't get. Yo, that reminds me about references. If any of you have seen Spider-Man Homecoming, well, let me know if you've seen Spider-Man Homecoming. It's not a spoiler I want to talk about, but it's a funny story, but it's kind of... It's not a spoiler, but I hate spoiling anything about a movie, so I basically consider everything spoilers. But anyways, what do people want? Things. I can't read that one. It's scribbled out. Happy feelings. Mike James, you're fired. Money, more money, things, but with money to buy more things. Graphs. Graphs about things plus money. We have a new product. The stock market is somewhere here. Colored in segment stripes. Requires more secondary research. What is hot? Target demographic. Teenagers. Line graph. Profits. Also, one of them is spelled profits as in Jesus. Rate of increase in graphs per slide. Please, no more charts. Please, I'm begging. Stop. The boss appreciation minute. On your boss appreciation minute worksheet, circle the top 20 things you love most about your boss. Fill out triplicate and return to your boss appreciation specialist. Okay. Solving interpersonal conflict. If you find yourself in a conflict with another diligent employee like yourself, but more inclined towards conflict, unless you're the kind of person who initiates conflict, why did we hire you? Remember that it takes... God damn it. What are your dreams for the future? Talk, radio, mitosis, nature, transcend, chart, success, lunch, plant life, a boat, football, travel, metamorphosis, comatose, less air, pollution, clear skin, spring break, hope. Tips for not getting fired. Talk less. Do unbelievably amazing work all the time, every day, with no expectation of promotion or recognition. Don't get fired. Thank you. I don't cast a shadow. How to solve a dispute with a coworker? Let it ball up inside you. Take it out passively aggressively on other coworkers. Resent coworkers for not supporting you more. Let it ball up inside you. Using slides to assure employees that everything is okay. Make sure your slide has a slick blue graphic in the header and throw some bevel on all the text. This will ensure a calm and productive work environment. Okay. Environment is unique. You most of all. Everyone is unique, not environment is unique. Number of slides on this slide. Slides, charts, charts and slides. Rate at which charts on the same slide depict the same information. Okay. Rate of increase. Okay. So I just want to read that one that I didn't get to the end of, which I think was either the next one or the one after. This one after. Why did we hire you? Remember that it takes 2 people to start a fight, and right now you're both of them. Okay. To do. Synergize. Core value expenditures. Shift global market. Parpad. What is par... Oh, parade, I guess. I read that as Parpad for some reason. Monetize free to play. Help. I'm opposed to it. Something. Quarterly pie charts. Alright, let's move on.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Oh, this is fancy. Don't like the white door on the wood though. I would design this door to be different. More like this door. Yeah, that just looks ugly. The secretary's gone. That's the boss's portrait, I guess. See?
Stepping inside his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, until he saw the door with a voice receiver next to it. Surely behind this door lay all the answers to his questions. And beyond all probability, he knew the passcode. He had seen it on his boss's computer just last week. Night Shark 115. Was this the code to open the door? Would it still work? There was only one way to find out. Stanley had been trained never to speak up, but now he would draw from within himself the courage to face the unknown. He drew a sharp breath and then spoke the code.
I thought that guy was stroking a cat, but instead he's stroking a globe. Night shift 115.
Stanley spoke the code. Night Shark 115.
Oh fuck, I got it wrong.
He spoke it into the receiver, right there on the wall.
Night Shark 115.
You didn't mishear me, did you? Please speak the code into the receiver. Otherwise we can't get on with the story. This is a crucial step.
Night Shark 115. Open the door.
Fine. You're not gonna do it?
I'm trying.
It's pretty humiliating to bring you this far, only for you to suddenly decide you have better things to do. I asked you for this one single thing, for your respect. The kind of respect Stanley shows for his choices. He knows what it means to take a story seriously. If you didn't want to see what I had to show you, then why did you come here? You had a choice, you know. You could have gone through the door on the right. You could have done whatever the hell you wanted over there. Why did you come this way?
Because you forced me.
To me. Explain yourself, you coward.
What the?
Came to a set of 2 open doors. He entered the door on his left. Stanley? Hello?
everything okay? Stanley, please. I need you to make a choice. I need you to walk through the door. Are you listening to me? Can you hear me? Is everything all right? Stanley, this is important. The story needs you. It needs you to make a decision. It cannot exist without you. Do you understand me? Whatever choice you make is just fine. They're both correct. You cannot be wrong here. We can work together. I'll accept whatever you do. I simply need you to take that step forward. Please. Choose. Do something. Anything. This is more important than you can ever know. I need this. The story needs it. So, you hear me? Are you there? Are you listening to this? Stanley, are you there? Okay. It's okay, I can wait. You need time to decide. Time to make sure your choice is correct. That is the best choice. That's all right. I'll wait for you to decide what's the right thing to do. Take as much time as you need.
Alright. Tell you, okay. There's definitely some more endings to this game, but I feel like I could probably play this for fucking ages and keep on getting new endings. And I kind of also want to play the beginner's guide today, so we're gonna do that. We've got essentially 2 endings, so I might stream this again, play some other endings, but yeah, right now I'm gonna switch over to the beginner's guide.